Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today we're Masechtas Bava Batra daf Kuf Samach Aleph. We're going to begin on Kuf Samach Aleph, Amud Aleph, third line from the top. So we've been introduced to a get makusher, which is not just a get, but also a shtar in general, in which it's tied in a very special way with witnesses signing. So on this we saw in yesterday's daf, there's a question exactly how and where did these witnesses sign. So we continue according to the opinion of Yomi bar Abba the Omer Achori Haksav Ukeneged Haksav Mibachutz. So they're supposed to write opposite the text. So as we saw in yesterday's daf, there could be a concern that this person may involve themselves in ramois, in forms of trickery, and possibly cut some of the document, remove some of the edim, and this is the same line of questioning we have here. The Gemara asks, Leichash Dilma Ksim Megavoy Madaboy. Maybe he will write an inside of the star on the bottom, whatever he wants. Umachtim Sahadi Yaseri Me'avroi. It'll add more edim later on the outside. Va'amar Anol Rabos Be'edim Hu Avdi. He'll say, all I wanted to do was make sure there was more edim. Basically, the question is, how could we avoid this potential act of fraud? So Amalei Mi Savrit Edim Kasidun Chasimi Edim Amatal Amal Chasimi. Who thought that when we say the edim are to sign, that they should sign in the proper order, therefore on the bottom? Rather, mimatal amal chasivi. They actually are going to go up the length of the star in a perpendicular manner, perpendicular of the text. So they will take a document, which is this is the top and this is the bottom, and they'll start signing down here, and they'll write their name Yitzchak Ben Avraham, and they'll sign it here. So this way it'll avoid anyone who would be cutting the document. They would end up be cutting part of that person's name as well. So V'leichesh Dilma Misrami Reusa B'shita Achrona. Maybe there could be some detrimental clause that's found at the very end of this document. The guy is L'shita Achrona, so he's going to cut off that last line. So he doesn't agree with that last line, so he'll just cut it off. The guy is Leila Ruvain Bahadeh, and he'll remove, let's say his name is Ruvain ben Yaakov. So he'll cut the name Ruvain, and you'll have what left? Miskasher ben Yaakov Eid. Even if it only says ben Yaakov Eid, those three words is enough. Even if it doesn't actually have the person's name, all it says is ben Yaakov Eid, that is a valid signature. So he can cut off the word Ruvain, which, again, he's writing down here, like Ruvain going down upward, and it'll say, so it'll just cut, so it'll be like this now, and it'll just say Ben Yaakov Eid, and he was able to throw out the bottom part. So why aren't we concerned that this individual may end up doing that? After all, how does that work? So Gemara says, because we actually did learn this in Masechtas Gittin, Ben Ish Ploni Eid Kosher. Even if you don't mention the person's name, you just mention Ben Ish Ploni, that's enough, Eid. So the Ksiv Ruvain Ben B'chad Dara. So one possibility is you write the word Ruvain Ben in one row, the Yaakov Eid Ilui, and Ruvain and Yaakov Eid on top of it, which is therefore parallel to the last line. So by doing that, you'll potentially avoid this issue. Says the Rashbam, B'shur Achas, you write the words Ruvain Ben on one line. The guys le Ruvain, if he cuts off the word Ruvain, guys le nami leben bahadeh. Since he wrote the words Ruvain Ben, he won't just be able to cut the word Ruvain, he'll end up cutting the word Ruvain Ben. V'lo nishar built the Yaakov Avado, and only say Yaakov, he'll say Yaakov Eid. So Yaakov Eid Eluye. V'leichash Dilma Geisli Ruvain Ben. Okay, fine. So he cut off the word Reuven and Ben. Umiskasher Yaakov Eid. Even if it only doesn't even say Ben, if it just says Yaakov Eid, that's also good. Ditnan, Ish Ploini Eid Kosher. That we learned that Taka, that's the same din, and the same Gemara over there in Gittin, that even if you don't mention your name at all you do is write Yaakov Eid, that's enough. So that problem doesn't help. You wrote these two words on one line, and he cuts off those words. Those two words are not necessary. So Gemara gives a couple answers. Siv Eid. One is that when you sign it, you don't write the word. There's no word aid afterwards. So the only time it works is only in a situation where it says, Rashba doesn't say, but the point is that you didn't write the word aid, and therefore all you have is the word Yaakov. So Yaakov is nothing. So the question is, why aren't we afraid? This is a good question. I'm not sure if the Mefarshim asked this. So then, if you can cut off this and you see he's a trickster, the whole problem is because it only says Yaakov. So what if we write the word aid after the word Yaakov? Okay. But anyway, that's one answer. V'vois ema l'oyom de kosav aid. Really, it does say Yaakov aid. So if that's the case, that's a valid signature. Diadinan bad daha chasimos yada. Because the Beis Din knows, as we continue to kuf samach alpha beis, lav Yaakovu. Says Rashbam, ein bazeh hamalkus shum adam shishmo Yaakov. There's no one whose actual name is Yaakov, shichtav kach. So everyone will know he did this trick, because no one is actually Yaakov. So if all you do is write the word Yaakov aid, there is no Yaakov in this town. So no one would think that this person actually has a valid signature, because there's no one that would have signed it, because no one has that name. Obviously, his father doesn't live in that community. Okay, so v'dilma b'shmei diavu chasam. Maybe, okay, fine, I could say, all right, there's no Yaakov here, but I signed it in the name of my father. So lo shavik in shmei didei chasam b'shmei diavu. No, the person doesn't do that. Even though you say, well, maybe it's, and to honor my father, I'm going to write my father's name instead of mine. The person doesn't do that. V'dilma simad ba'almahu d'shava. Maybe, okay, I'm not going to write the name Yaakov, it's my father's name, but maybe that's my siman, that's a sign, because you don't actually even have to have an actual signature. The Harav Tzayer Kavra, Rav, when he would sign, he used to just make a picture of a fish. Rav Chanina Tzayer Charusa, Rav Chista was a samach, he would just make the letter samach. Rav Oisha would just make an ayin. Rava Barav Huna Mechusa, he would make a mast of a ship. Says the Rashbam, everyone knew that this was Rav's signature. He made a picture of a fish. Maybe because he loved eating fish. That's what he used to do. Again, Chrusa Rashbam says Choryoshel Dekel, like a palm tree. Anyway, so maybe that's what he did. The answer is no. A person is not going to have the chutzpah to make his father's name as a symbol. And therefore, there's no question this is not the case. So those are the potential answers. Either, again, there was no word aid, or alternatively, that no one in that city has the name Yaakov. Why are we bending over backwards to come up with a pshat? The answer is pashit. Anytime you have a get makusher, which it's not finished with Adam on the same line, it's pasul. So, as the Rashbam says, if it's all in the last line, says the Rashbam, Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel Omer Makusher Shekosar Adam Matochel Kosher. So he says that if you write on the inside it's kosher, because Shiochel Aso, so poshit, because you can make it poshit, just unfold it. According to the opinion that's from the bottom up, chayspin lo yitakin lo asos makusher pashut. Then you obviously could not make a makusher pashut the way that it was signed, as we've been saying. You can't just unfold it. If you just unfold it, that doesn't do anything. So obviously that's not really the right way of signing it. The imtas and makusher, if you make it into makusher, makusher b'shnei edim pasulhu. 2 witnesses is pasul. So you can't make a pashut into a makusher either. Va'od hamakusher imtas seyu pashut nimsa ma'ucher kidul kaman the kosher imtas a pashut makusher yim mukdom va'mukdom pasul. Okay. Anyway, so the Rashbam says that piece. Okay, and that's it for the Rashbam. But Tosfos says the igay is shita achrona. Basically, what happens if you end up cutting the last line, yachtav kol rasha edim, you're cutting off all of the witnesses. V'lo yishayir ki'im ben ploni aid. So you'll have, let's say, 3-5 signatures, and you're going to cut all the names. So all it's going to say is ben ploni aid for all of them. V'nikr haramois kivan shekol edim chatuchin. It's obvious that they were all cut. So therefore, in that case, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, let's look at a couple of questions. Question 2. Get poshet shekosvu eidav mucharin madua eno kosher matam shila soisa makusher. So we just saw this. If you have a get poshet that the eidim wrote in the back, so how is that an issue? So we just saw in the Rashbam, the poshet eidav Shnayim, there's 2 witnesses. Dim tasei makusher, if you make him a pasha makusher, so makusher with 2 witnesses is pasul. And if you make into a pasha, tasa pasha makusher, yim mukdom, it becomes a shtar mukdom. The shtar mukdom pasul. Akan.